It is the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and our next guest is due to talk Great Flinders football with us, but I've got a feeling he might want to talk about a different association. Let's bring him in anyway. Chris Prime, how are you, mate?
I am good, Regs, and yes, there's probably a bit for me to touch on the Eastern Air football rather than all Great Flinders, if that's okay with the listeners tonight.
Well, that's fine. We'll get to it because, you would have had to get from Lock to Cleve fairly quickly, I'd imagine. You had a date with your youngsters there in Great Flinders who were playing in the preliminary final. We'll get to them in a minute, but look, before we get to what happened in Great Flinders, you would have been proud of your Ports boys, Primey, I'm sure. The family connection there is fairly obvious for all to see, and I know you got down to Cleve and watched them play.
Yeah, look, I left straight after our Colts played and, went to Cleve at 80 k's an hour and roadworks all the way. Watched the Ports boys. It's only the second time the club in the history has had the A and the B grade in the grand final. So it was good to watch and a pretty exciting day all round.
Dad would have been pleased from upstairs watching down, I'm sure. Obviously, it's been a tough few months for the family, but I'm sure every one of the primes in the region would have been delighted that was a win for him.
Oh, yeah, they would have been. But it wasn't just that. Like, the bloke was best man at my wedding, who I played in 2-3 premierships with at Port Neal. He had two sons playing, and like there's other families there that have got 2 or 3 kids in it, and like just that long family history. And it's not just our family; it's the families have been involved with the club for years, and probably gone through a fair bit of heartbreak and soul searching where you're not winning games for a long period of time, and then to come out and get an A and a B grade. We spent 6 years even without a B grade.
Yep.
And like it's just look, I went back to Arno Saturday night, and I mean it was a real buzz, and it wasn't just the players. I think all the supporters really got something out of it, as
they should. So, all right, Jared Sampson has got all the details. Check out the podcast there for Great Flinders football, and we'll talk more about Port's fortunes a little bit later on. But let's turn our attention back to Great Flinders for a moment. Preliminary final day at Lock it was. Action started with the mini Colts. So, in fact, they started with your senior Colts, didn't they?
They did, and it was a cracking game. Look, we got off to a pretty good start, and United kept pegging us back, and I don't think there was more than a goal or 10 points in at any stage, probably until the last 2 or 3 minutes where United got away to a 3-goal win, basically.
6 points at half-time to the Saints, 6 points at three-quarter time to the Saints, and in the end it was 10-10-70 to 7-7-49. Tumby Bay unfortunately miss out on making a grand final, but you were right when you said there's not much between the top three in this comp, and Air United will go through to grand final day with a fair amount of confidence, you'd think.
Oh, look, they will. They've got a good bunch of young players and very well coached by Shane Masson. So, yeah, it'll be a real cracking game, and I guess we'll get onto that later.
Yeah, we will. The mini Colts, Cougars, they got through in a tight one against United Atlanta. They followed the senior Colts, of course, and in the end it was Cummins Skipini 3-1-19. United Atlanta 2-2-14. Not much in it all day, as you would expect, and Cougars now go on to face your Tumby Bay boys.
Look, they do, and this was, I did see the first half of this, and there was nothing in it really. And when you come down to the same number of scoring shots, but they can go either way. It's pretty tough conditions for the minis with a crosswind, big oval. It makes it hard to move the ball up and down. So, yeah, look, it was a credit to them, and well done, Cougars.
Young Hazelgrove booted 2 goals and was named in the best for them. Radford, Thompson and Stokes for Cummins Skipini were in their best for the United Atlanta boys. Young Triple J Jenkins booted a goal and was named in the best as well, along with Dingwall, Haylock and Wilkes for the Eagles. So As we said, Cougars taking on Tumby Bay. We'll get to that. Speaking of what was going on in preliminary finals, and Cougars in particular, they had a pretty good day in the end because their reserves got through against Elliston Districts. So they'll have, I think, all four playing grand final day. Is that right?
Yeah, look, that's right. This is probably the one that I didn't predict as much. Cougars had the ability to drop, I think, 2 or 3 blokes back from the A grades from last week, and look, that made the difference. That's those extra wise heads using the ball in tricky conditions always helps out in the B grade game.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there was only 16 points in it at three-quarter time. Cougars sort of jumped out to a 4-goal advantage at half-time. Elliston Districts were on the way back at three-quarter time, but a 5-goal to 1 final term finished it off for Cummins Capini. They won 11-8-74 to Elliston Districts 4-5-29. And that was their last hope for a grand final extinguished in their first year. But what a season that club has had, its first year in Great Flinders football, Primey. They should be pretty proud of their efforts.
Oh, look, they should be. Elliston Districts are like being competitive in everything all year, and it is a credit to them. Really thrown in the deep end with 5 weeks to go before footy started, and like really not knowing where they'd play footy or even if they would. So to get going and have the year they did, I think they'll only get better from here.
Spot on. And then the A-grade preliminary final. We gave Locke a real chance in this one, but look, the reality is the 2 best sides in the competition all year long will play off for the premiership because the Eagles were too good in the end. 12-7-79 to Locke, 5-7-37. They were a chance at half-time, but as that margin sort of extended out to 4-goal at three-quarter time, it was going to be pretty tough in that last term, and in the end, the Eagles class prevailed.
Look, it did, but Lockwood even at three-quarter time would have said, look, we're still a chance. They've come home well against sides all year, and but like it just showed the class of the Eagles. They know how to put that pressure on at that time of year, and when you can hold a team like Lock to that score like that, that's outstanding, and their defence is a major key to them winning games.
Havelberg it was that popped up this term around, and that's the big key for the Eagles. They've got so many options up forward that can hurt you on the scoreboard and through the midfield as well. Casey Carr booted 3. The 2 Beards kicked 4 of the 5 Lock goals, and we thought that might be an issue for the Roos. It's up forward, it's left to too few pretty much.
Yeah, it is, and like that's an issue for a lot of clubs. And like they get enough of the ball, it's just getting that last kick into the 50. So if you know where the ball's going to go, well, it's easier to defend. And unfortunately, if you only got a couple of options up there, your opposition knows what you're thinking the same as when you're doing it, so they can position themselves. So it's one of those tough ones. You'll be tested again this week, I'm pretty sure.
No doubt. Hey, let's have a look at this week's grand finals at Tumby Bay. You'll be a busy boy, I'd imagine, Primey, working behind the bar.
I would assume so. I think it will be busy during the day, and about 6 o'clock, a big portion of the crowd will disappear back to celebrate or commiserate the day's proceedings, and we'll be just left with our club that will be probably sitting there going, geez, we're buggered after a long day.
Well, Cougars will be jumping there in Cummins because they've got all 4 teams in, as we touched on before. So the Senior Colts game will start us off. Let's talk about this one. Cummins Capini taking on E United. Do you give the Saints a chance here?
Look, I do. I think it'll be a real cracker of a game. Look, as I said, there's not much between these sides. They've met 3 times throughout the year. Cougars have got up each time, but it comes down. It's like a lot of finals. It's a real midfield battle, and it's just if the United boys can stop the Cougars forward line and make the most of their opportunities. It's one of those absolute toss of the coin, and after playing them over the last 2 weeks, well, it's pretty hard to pick.
Yep. There's nothing surer than Tumby Bay starting favourites in the junior colts, or the mini colts, if you will. I think going for an undefeated season against Cougars. It won't be easy. Cougars are a good unit, but Tumby Bay should win this, Primey.
Look, they should. Once again, look, they've had a really good year, but Cougars are the one side that pushes them. They score more freely probably than Tumby does, and it'll be that getting that score on the board for Tumby. Like, they have the strong midfield with Leroy Richardson running through the middle, and Tony Robinson across half back. So it will be one of those games where Tumby should win, but pressure does funny things to people in finals.
It certainly does. The reserves clash should be fairly clear-cut as well. Ramblers undefeated all season long. Heading into the grand final, they start red-hot favourites against Cougars again. So Cougars are going to have to overcome if they want to have a good day, grand final day, in a number of these grades.
Yeah, I think it's probably the toughest grade of all. I said last week, the Ramblers side that play in the second semi would win its fair share of A-grade games. It's not by stacking, it's just that's where those players are playing now.
Yep.
And, I mean, I talked to a couple of the Cougars boys Saturday, and they look around and you go, well, there's 6 guys in this back line that, have played senior footy in the last 12 months, 2 years, and you go, well, that's pretty hard. So I think Ramblers comfortably. As I said, funnier things have happened.
Yep. And then the A-grade, another undefeated side looking to make a perfect season. 3 out of the 4 go into grand final day undefeated. That's 3 out of the 4 top sides in the 4 grades. Cougars, of course, taking on United Yolanda, and whilst they haven't defeated them at any stage yet, I think they're pretty close to doing so. This could be interesting.
It will be. Yolanda have tasted both sides. They've tasted the undefeated to lose a grand final and gone through undefeated. So, I mean, it's not pleasant losing grand final day at any stage, but if it's when you haven't lost all year, it's even a bit more bitter pill to swallow. In saying that, like, Cougars have got to go in favourites just from their form throughout the year. Even when Yolanda had them against the wall in the second semi, they found a way. So you think they'll find a way, but it won't be easy. And I think it'll be halfway through the last quarter before we know who's going to win this one.
I agree. Even though Cougars are undefeated and they deserve to start favourites, this game isn't won yet. They're too good a side, the Eagles, to lie down for anyone, let alone Cougars. So, yeah, this should be a beauty, but you'd have to go with Cougars on the strength of their season. So, should be a beauty, that one at Tumby Bay. Anything else for us, Primey, before we wrap it up?
No, look, I just good luck to all the sides. Look, I haven't really tipped anyone in this, and it's pretty hard to come grand final day. Just you hope for good games and people getting through injury-free and everyone just having a good day. But I think in the end, Cougars with 4 sides in will take 2 home and the other 2 will be shared. So we'll see how that goes by the end of it.
All right. Well, mate, all the best for the weekend for you guys there at Tumby. Good luck hosting it, and probably we'll catch up with you again to go through the winners and the losers.
Yeah, look, hopefully I can actually watch a bit of footy on the weekend and give you a report of what I see and not just make stuff up.
Good on you, mate. All the best.
No worries. Thanks, Reece.